Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Talk podcast. I don't know what it is today. It's kind of been higher temps than it normally has been. It's like mid-70s, I think, today. But it's like super sunny skies, and I don't know what it is, but it just has me like in such a good mood. I just picked up my second coffee of the day to sit here and record this episode. I don't know what it is today. Like, I know I needed to record it today, but part of me is just super excited to sit and do this episode. It's just like a classic, a fall vibe type episode. But I don't know, like, I was just so excited to be able to sit here and record it. I don't know. I can't like put my finger on what it was about right now and wanting to do this, but yeah, here we are. Like I said, second coffee today. They actually made it really good. I went to Starbucks. I got the iced blonde vanilla latte. That's typically my go-to. I don't always like every coffee that I get from Starbucks, and half the time I get really upset because I don't want to be wasting my money on like Starbucks coffee to not like it. Like, for some reason, it's either I like it or I don't. Like, there's never a moment where I'm like, oh, like, it was okay. Like, no. For some reason, for Starbucks, it's I either like it or I don't. And obviously, Starbucks is a little more expensive than Dunkin', so I'm like, oh, I don't know. But if I don't know what I want, but I want a coffee, this is just typically the drink that I get. I was gonna get another like pumpkin chai tea. I had that recently and actually really, really liked it. So I thought about getting another one of those, but I decided on just getting coffee. I don't know, I wasn't really feeling chai right now. Or maybe it was the pumpkin. Honestly, who knows? But I really wanted coffee, so I just went here, got this. And yeah, here we are. Streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, anywhere you stream your podcast, or we are here on YouTube, Girls Gotta Talk podcast. Come subscribe, join the fam over here. But today's episode, I love it when I've been recording episodes lately because they've been like fall inspired, fall vibe type. And it's been like super chill, super cool outside. Today it is, I don't even want to say warm, like it's still a little cool outside, but it's been warmer than it has been. So doing this episode in this weather just isn't necessarily hitting the same, I guess you could say. But at the same time, I'm just really excited to do all of these things. So, yeah, we're honestly just going to get right into this. This is going to be a little list I have kind of constructed. I don't want to say for myself, but most of it's going to be for myself, but also just ideas to put out there for you to have in the back of your mind for a day you either have off from work, a day you have to yourself, a day you're hanging out with friends and you guys need something to do. Anything, honestly, along those lines. This is just kind of a how to romanticize your fall season. Like I said, we are here. We're in fall. We're in full fall effect. Granted, depending on where you live, you might not have necessarily a fall. Like if you're in like California and that side, you're probably not having as much of a fall as like we New England people get. But we're still in the fall season. You can still try to make the best out of your fall situation, I guess you could say. But these are just little things. The first thing I have on my list is putting up lights. I have, like, they're just Christmas lights that I keep up year round around my room. Sometimes if I go in my room and, like, at night and I don't feel like turning on, like, I have a light just on, like, a ceiling fan in my room. That's really the only light I have. But sometimes I just don't feel like putting that on, so I put on, like, I plug in the Christmas lights, and it just has a better, like, aesthetic, cozy type vibe in my room, and I love that. so much more sometimes than just putting on like regular lights you'd put on in your bedroom. So I always have those in year round. I never take them down. I think I put them up around Christmas time, but I keep them up year round. I'm not gonna like go around and put them up and down every single year, but at the same time, like, they're not just for the Christmas spirit vibe, whatever you want to call it. It's just an aesthetic little situation, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to explain it, but I love those lights so much. Or even if you put up like little fairy lights, I feel like those give off little comfy, cozy vibes around the room. Especially either if you're just putting them up, like I said, I just have mine up like around the borders of my room, like along the ceiling. Whether you do that or you put them up like intertwined with some decorations. I know like Christmas time, people could do those with like a wreath or some type of garland. I saw someone on Instagram yesterday, maybe. I forget if I was looking honestly yesterday or this morning. They intertwined some lights with like a garland type thing, but it was like fall leaves. It looked so cute. I was like, oh, that's so pretty, and like it's so comfy, cozy for like the fall spirit. But you could either intertwine it with something decoration wise or just have them around your room. Honestly, that's what I do, but still it just gives a different vibe, aesthetic around the room, and I feel like it's just kind of perfect for like a situation where you want to like work or read, or you're watching TV, a movie, anything, and you're just kind of relaxing. It's just, I don't know, just a different vibe. There's just something about it. It just gives off a different aesthetic in the room, and I think that's what I go for when I have these up and on. The next thing I have, I know I've talked about a lot lately, is walks. In the fall, like the cool crisp air, the new fall foliage, all the leaves are finally changing. There's a lot of brown, yellow leaves when I look around now. Again, like, I live in Connecticut, so we do get all 4 seasons. I think I said in the last couple episodes that I had that the leaves weren't changing, but now, a few weeks later, they have changed. You can see, just looking around, it just looks a lot more colorful, and you can tell we're just in the midst of fall right now. I feel like between that and like walking around in the crisp air, like today, it's a little, it's so weird to say warmer, but it's been a lot warmer than it has been. This morning when I woke up, it was 51 degrees and it was like freezing in my room, which part of me really likes. I feel like I sleep a lot better in the cold. So for me, like during the night when it's cooler, it might be cold, but I definitely sleep a lot better. So I kind of suck it up and enjoy it, because I know like I'll get really good sleep. In the morning, it's freezing, and do I want to get out of bed? Not necessarily, but at the same time, I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, okay, but I love this weather. So like, I guess we'll just put up with it for now. But walks, I actually was going to go for a walk the other day. I don't know what it was. I just really was like, oh, it's so nice outside. Like, I love knowing and feeling that we're in like fall time, and my parents live on like a block. So like I could just go around basically in a big circle. Part of it is like it's up a hill to start the walk, but like down a hill to come back around type of thing. So it's kind of like a pick your poison. It's obviously like some exercise, some fresh air, but at the same time I was like, do I really want to walk like up hills right now? I really wasn't feeling it, to be honest, but maybe sometime soon. I know I go on a lot of walks anyways, because after I pick up my son from like daycare and just have him for a little bit, I bring him out still outside for him to get like fresh air, run around, get all his little crazies out. So I'd still like go for walks with him around some places. So I still get walks in almost every day, but I was thinking about it the other night, and then I was like, no, I don't want to. So I talked myself out of it, which, thinking back on it, I probably should have just gone, but it is what it is. The next thing that I have, I've actually done some research into, and I'm super excited to try to either buy the books or I don't know if I could find some of them at Target. I might have to order some or like end up at like a Barnes and Noble or something. I haven't been to a Barnes and Noble in so long. And I think there's one like maybe half hour tops from my parents' house. So maybe I'll have to go over there and check it out just because, like, for the sole purpose of obviously a Barnes and Noble has way more books than like a Target would. Maybe just for the adventure. I don't know. I might have to go and do that soon. But yeah, the next thing I have is the fall TBR list, or basically just reading in general. I know I want to get into reading. I have been into reading lately. I started a new book. Well, actually, like, I'm kind of almost in the middle of a new book, but I love it so much. I'm actually going to mention it in, like, I'm going to mention it in this list I have because I just found something out about the book I'm reading, which made me super excited to, like, keep reading and finish. But basically, fall TBR, I have been seeing this one book around social media lately, on Instagram a lot. It's called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. And I heard from people kind of reviewing this book and reading like synopsis and stuff about it that it kind of gives Gilmore Girl vibes in a book. And that within itself makes me super excited and I want to read it so bad. I don't know if it's a book that's at Target or if I'll have to order it somewhere online like Amazon, or if I could find it in a Barnes and Noble or anything like that. But I just know I've been seeing, and there's another book I've been seeing a lot too, but I can't think of the name of it right now. I've been seeing it so much on Instagram, like I said, mostly. But I want to read it so bad. So I know that's definitely a book I'll be adding to my fall TBR, whether I have to order it, I can go find it somewhere. Like, I just know I want to read it so bad this year. The book I'm currently reading is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I've actually been really into it. Like, I love this book. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. But I also found out that she either is coming out with a sequel or it is out, like recently just came out. It either recently just came out or it's coming out very soon. It's called Nothing Like the Movies, which is supposedly supposed to be based like 2 years after the book I'm in, like I'm currently reading, like timeline wise. So it's like the book I'm reading and then like 2 years later is supposed to be like the basis of the sequel. And like I said, I'm in love with the book I'm reading now. I think I'm like about halfway through. So I'm really excited that there's a sequel and I honestly want to find it. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's out or if it's coming out like really soon, but I want to definitely get my hands on it, whether I have to order it again or I'm assuming if it like just came out, it's probably not in like Target or anything yet. So I'll have to look into that and honestly see if it's even out, but see where I can find it, either if it is out or when it does come out. But yeah, the next book, I actually have like a whole like list I'm going to go through of a few that I want to put on my fall TBR. The first was The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. The next one was the sequel, Nothing Like the Movies. The next one I have is The 7-Year Slip. I've really been wanting to read this. I've heard really good things about this book. I feel like it became a really popular book. Because I've seen a lot of people when they do like book reviews or like TBR, especially like videos on YouTube, everyone mentions this book and they like love it. I think this book is based in Manhattan, New York, which I feel like a lot of people have been saying like they love reading about New York during the fall time. I don't know if I catch that vibe or if I understand it, but I think that's what or where this book is based around, like location wise. But I really just also have been wanting to read this book, so I'm just gonna add it to my fall TBR anyways, just hopefully to read it soon. I know I've seen it in Target, and I don't know why I never pick it up, but I always end up getting a separate book, but now I just really want to get my hands on this one and read it super soon. Another book I had on my TBR just in general was The Housemaid by Freda McFadden. But I did some research into this book, and kind of reading about it, it was kind of like a spooky, twisty type of read, which I feel like obviously would go really well in this October fall time era, if you will. So, like I said, I've been wanting to read this book anyway, so I feel like now is the time to hopefully get into it. It is a trilogy. It is The Housemaid is the first one, The Housemaid's Secret is the second book, and then The Housemaid is Watching is the third book in the trilogy. So I'm assuming, to me, just based on titles, they all sound kind of like spooky or twisty type of situation. I'm assuming they're all along those lines, but I know I looked into the first one because obviously I want to read the first one first, but it sounded like, I don't know if I want to say like 100% thriller vibes, but it sounded like a little twisty turn situation happening in the book. So I do want to read this around this time. The last book that I have on my, it was on my TBR, but I guess I'm going to move it to my fall TBR, is Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door. It is by Lucy Score, and she was the author of the, if you've read it, like the Knockmount, I think was the town, but I think that's what she called the trilogy. It was the Knockmount series. It was the 3 books with Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and Things We Left Behind. I know, like, this series, the, if you could recall, like, the cover, like, the Things We Never Got Over was, like, a blue book. Things We Hide from the Light was pink, and then Things We Never Got Over were, or no, Things We Left Behind is purple. I read the first one, and I absolutely loved it. I loved these books. I feel like a lot of people were like, I don't want to say complaining, but they were saying that these books were super long for no reason. Like, they were like, I feel like 400, 500, 600 page books, and just kind of drawn out really long when it didn't have to be, which I kind of agree with. The books were really long, and I feel like parts of the book could have been like either chopped out or like not as long. Like, I could have kind of just gotten to the plot, but I still, for some reason, really loved these books. So I loved the way she wrote. Like, I loved her books from those are the only 3 I've read by her, but like I said, I love them. So I'm really intrigued to read more by her. And this book seems like another like mystery killer type read from what I've read. I use Goodreads all the time to track books I want to read, books I've read, like books I've read in certain years or just in general. And I read the synopsis about this book, and that's kind of the vibe it was giving me, was like mystery killer type situation, which of course fits into this October fall era again. So I'm super excited. I want to pick up that one. I've definitely seen this one in Target. I think this is either one of 3 or one of 4. Like, I know there's different books where it's like Riley Thorne and something. Like, this one's just Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door. I think there's like 3 or 4 different books that have the Riley Thorne in the title. I don't remember the rest of the books, but like I said, I loved the Lucy Score books that I have read, so I do want to read more by her, and these are just gonna fall on my fall TBR because of the era, I guess, I don't know, just synopsis, and it fitting so well into fall, October, mystery type vibes. The next thing I had on my list was watching spooky movies. Of course, this has to happen in the fall time, whether you're just watching something classic like Halloween Town or Hocus Pocus. Like I think I've mentioned last episode, 2 episodes ago, the fall movies ones, Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus 2, Halloween Town. There's 4 different Halloween Towns. If you're watching like Haunted Mansion, which is kind of like a comedy, scary movie with Eddie Murphy, classics like that, or if you're going actually a little more scary and watching like It, the Stephen King, I know it was a book, I know they made it into a movie. I refuse to watch that one for the fact of I'm terrified of clowns. Like, I do not like anything clown related. No thank you. So I'm definitely not into watching that movie personally, but I know that's definitely a movie to watch around this time. The Conjuring. Have watched part of The Haunting in Connecticut for the sole purpose. So like I said, I live in Connecticut, so I was mostly just very curious on this movie. It was pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen the whole thing. I don't know if I'll try to rewatch it this year or what, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But The Haunting in Connecticut, I know, is like a pretty scary movie. Or like Megan, the new, I think it came out recently. I don't remember how long ago it came out, but the doll movie, I feel like dolls kind of freak me out too. So I don't know, again, personally, if I'll get into or watch that movie, but I know that's definitely, I feel like, a movie to watch this time of year. Or if you want to watch fall shows, again, I've mentioned a million times, I actually was watching it the other day and it just felt so like cozy. I found out my mom has Netflix. So I went in and I was on her account and I just pulled up Gilmore Girls. I mean, obviously, like, on her account. She's never watched it, it didn't seem like. And I don't know where I had left off the last time I watched it, so I just started it, season 1, episode 1, and got right into it. I think I got like 4 or 5 episodes deep the other day, but it just felt so right, honestly. Gilmore Girls is just the way to go. I put this on my list. I'm not gonna lie when I say I've never seen this show before, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna roast me so bad. I know my brother's like obsessed with it, and so is my aunt. So I know they're always like, Alyssa, what? Friends came up. Honestly, I tried to like search for fall shows just to like get in the spirit, like the mood, try to find something to watch. Friends came up. I've never honestly seen Friends before. So there's that. Same with Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl came up as like a fall show, and I've never seen Gossip Girl before. But I heard that is like a really good show. I don't know if I'll get into it. Maybe I'll try to watch an episode or 2 and see if I can get into that. But that also came up as a fall show. The next thing that came up as a fall show, which kind of surprised me because this has been honestly my comfort show since it came out. And I feel like it came out when I was like a freshman or a sophomore or something in high school, was Pretty Little Liars. I feel like it's fall kind of because it's back to school related and all that stuff. Obviously, there's like 7 or 8 seasons, I want to say, so it's a really long show. Obviously, during that time, you're going to have some fall vibes. I know in like the early season, there's like Halloween type episodes, like haunted house, scary house type things. I could remember some episodes like that. But I don't know, like I never thought of it as a fall show. And when it came up, I was like, oh my God, like that's perfect. Like, would I watch it again? Absolutely. Have I seen it a million times? Yes, but I would still sit there and watch it whenever, honestly. I don't know what it is about that show, but it's been such a comfort show for me for some reason. Like I said, literally since it came out. One of the other shows that came up fall vibe was The Vampire Diaries, which I've also heard very good things about. I've been back and forth on whether or not I wanted to start this show, but maybe I will. I don't know. But American Horror Stories, I feel like, was very, very, very popular when it came out. That was another one that popped up for fall shows. Again, I've never seen it, but they all sound interesting, and I've honestly heard really good things about all these shows, so maybe I'll end up finding a new one this year to get into. And I know, obviously, on, like, Disney Channel, shows that I, like, grew up on, like, I don't know, I can't think of anything specifically. There's obviously fall episodes within shows. I didn't know any. I couldn't think of any. But those are probably coming out either very soon, or if you go on, like, Disney Plus and search a show, I'm sure you'll find a Halloween or horror episode. Not horror, but, like, scarier episode. I know there's, like, that Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. There's, like, that episode where they have, like, the supposed, like, haunted room in the hotel. That's, like, actually what just came to mind as I was talking about this. I'm trying to think of, like, another show that has, like, a scary Halloween episode. I know, and also Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, there's, like, that Arwen, like, Frankenstein type episode where they find, like, Arwen's been hiding this thing in, like, his room in the basement or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's like a Arwenstein. I don't know. If you've seen Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, you know what I'm talking about. But those are the first two things that actually just came to mind as I was saying this. But I'm sure you could find fall episodes in any show. The next thing that I have was baking. I feel like baking in the fall just, I don't know, gives another, like, cozy vibe, because then you got the house smelling like either cookies or something you just made. Whether you're making, like, a fall, like, pumpkin bread or something like that, if you're making some type of, like, muffins or just cookies, I feel like you're gonna have the kitchen, especially, if not, like, the whole house just smelling like either pumpkin or maybe, like, a cinnamon or, like, a chai cinnamon, I don't know, something vibe. I feel like that is just very fall-esque, if you would. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. The next thing that I had was creating a fall mood board. I feel like I've made these for, like, summer or, like, New Year especially. I don't know if I've ever really made one for fall, but I feel like fall would be such a perfect time to make one, because there's so much that you could do fall inspired that you could just put on a mood board. And I feel like just, it would look so pretty, because you're probably going to have, like, pumpkins or apples or, like, the leaves or something. It'll just look so pretty to look at, whether you just have it or, like, you print it out and just have it around your room, or you have it on, like, a background, either on your phone, on your computer, like, something like that. It'll just be so pretty to look at, I feel. That's actually really exciting. I really want to make a fall mood board, so maybe I'll look on, like, Pinterest or something and find pictures to create one. Another thing that I had was a fall picnic. This just goes along the lines of you'll just be in the nature of fall foliage all around you, whether you're actually eating, like, fall desserts or just having I don't know, bringing anything you want to eat to a picnic. But I feel like just your surroundings in nature, fall foliage, fall all around you is just going to be so fun. I feel like I could just look anywhere and just stare at, like, trees and just seeing all the fall leaves and colors. I feel like that's probably my favorite part about fall, if I'm being honest. I just love, like, the scenery everywhere. The next two things I have, the last two things, honestly, are carving pumpkins and apple picking. I feel like I've said this recently. I've never gone pumpkin picking. I've also never carved a pumpkin before. That might have to be on, like, a bucket list item this year. I feel like I just need to do it just for the sole purpose of just getting it done, like, just saying I've done it type of thing. I wouldn't know how to go about carving a pumpkin, if I'm being perfectly honest, but hopefully we'll learn that this year. And I haven't gone apple picking. I don't even remember. I think the last time I went apple picking, it was like 2017, 2016, 2017, 2018. No, 2017. Had to be 2017. And that was so long ago. Like, feels like forever ago. And I think I mentioned this before, that now that my son is 2, I feel like apple picking would be so fun with him because he can run around, walk around on his own. Honestly, whether you pick him up or he could actually reach like maybe some on like a really low branch, he could like pick them himself. And I feel like he would get such a kick out of it. I feel like he would actually love it and find it really fun. And at that point, like, he could eat them too. Like, I don't have to worry about him. I mean, obviously, if they're bad apples, I'll have to like watch, but he'll be able to like eat them. I don't know. I feel like with him in the age he's at now, it would be so fun and so cute to take him apple picking. So I feel like another thing I want to put on a fall bucket list this year. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, but I think I did mention recently too, I don't know like how long pumpkin too, but apple picking goes for. I feel like in the fall, like I don't think about it in like November area, so I don't know if it ends in like October, if you could actually go apple picking in November, but I feel like I have to look at places and kind of see when to go and when it ends and when places have it, or I don't know, just I have to look into it, but I feel like that'd be so much fun this year, especially going with him. So I do want to make that happen this year at some point, hopefully soon. But yeah, I don't know. That's everything I had on a list of a way to romanticize the fall, embrace the fall, get into the fall vibes, no matter where you live. Hopefully, those are some good things for you guys to keep in the back of your mind. Like I said, whether you have a day to yourself and you need something to do, if you're going out with family and they need something to do to get out of the house or something, group of friends. I don't know, really any time this season, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you guys so much. That is all I have for you for this episode, and I'll see you next week back with a brand new episode. Bye.